We've conducted a search, Sammy, and we found nothing suspicious. We're safe to say there's no one here.
Hi and welcome to the SohoLIFF Spotlights. I am so excited because we are joined today by the wonderful Megan Smith and Debbie Korley, who are here with their film I Called You, which is going to be screening at the next SohoLIFF 2025. Oh my goodness. So this is a very important film and just brilliant. You've done it so brilliant. And it's short, which is it's a skill to create something that has such an impact in just like 6 minutes. Yeah. For people watching, without giving away too much,
Sure.
What is the film about?
Well, yeah, shout out to Bernice Pike, who wrote the film. It's essentially about a young woman at her flat who thinks there is an intruder there, and calls the police, and the police actually do a good job, but they don't believe her and leave, and then the question of whether or not the intruder actually is there, I think I'll say it like that,
that's great,
hangs over at the end of the film.
So how did you find this script?
So the wonderful Bernice and I knew each other from drama school, and we met, and Bernice is very into sort of violence against women. She volunteers for a women's refuge charity. It's a cause big to her heart, and I think she wanted to write something in particular about the microaggressions that women feel and have, and how really they're not taken seriously by society, and sometimes that allows some men to sort of build up and escalate to horrific crimes and situations which we've all seen over the last few years. And she wanted to write something which kind of highlighted that, and that's where I Called You came in. And we actually worked on the script with our director Jane Moriarty for quite a while. And actually it was a lot longer, the script, to start with, and then when we realised that perhaps we weren't going to get the funding, we just took an element of it, which was still the main themes of the story, but kind of being able to shoot it on a smaller budget. So it's a testament to the script that Bernice wrote, that whether it was the 20-minute script or the 5-minute script, those themes do come through.
It doesn't always need to be longer.
No.
It's so powerful because it is quite short and it takes you in. It says everything.
Yeah.
I mean, something that I found very powerful was the fact that it was about not being safe in your own home.
Right.
I mean, was that done purposefully?
Yeah, I think that was definitely something that we all felt quite... It's just a really sad fact that I think most women can just relate to not feeling safe, even not in your own home, not walking down the street, always having to think ahead, think of different scenarios, situations. I think that's how we all read the script, and we all could sort of be
we all related to it.
we all related to it, and that was I think Bernice sort of started to write it in 2020, and we're sort of at the end of 2024, and it's still happening, and that's why it's the suspense and it's the feeling safe, women feeling safe on the street, in your home. It's a shame. It's just so sad that it's still so relevant and so familiar.
Yeah. I know. It's too familiar.
Yeah, right.
That there's not going to be a single woman that will watch that and
right.
go, I don't get that.
Yeah.
So your director, how did you get involved with her? Because she's got quite a theatrical background.
She has. I mean, she's so amazingly talented. Yeah. We've both worked with her separately to this film, Jane Moriarty. I think she is very passionate about theatre, but I think when a subject matter like this comes along, she just wanted to be involved. She's so talented. You can see
you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah,
she's very precise.
Yeah.
And focus on detail is really important to Jane.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why we like working with her. Yeah. You always feel safe in her hands.
Yeah. Which is ironic because the film is about not feeling safe. But but she also went to at drama school. I can't remember how you met Jane originally. It was at a theatre job. No?
Yeah, theatre jobs, but also Mount View.
Is it
as
Mount
well.
View? Yeah.
So we've all got a connection with Mount View somehow.
Yes.
So did you go specifically to her, or?
I think Bernice, it was she just really wanted someone who she knew she could give the script to, who would get it, would understand it, and would make it. And I think there was no other choice. When Bernice and I were talking, we were like, Jane would be perfect. And luckily for us as well, sometimes the stars align and someone, just has the capacity and the time, and not in between projects at all, but maybe just can be like, yes, I can do this. And that was just that was the case with working with Jane, which we were so grateful for.
So you're both in this
We
as
are.
well, and you're both fabulous. You really are. But I want to ask you about this because you're both female police officers.
Such a good point.
Once again, with not giving away the story, but the subject matter, was this a choice?
I think Bernice would say it was a choice, and I think Jane fully supported it. And I think we both felt when we read the script.
Itself, it's really nice to see the representation of female identifying people in like the police service, but it's so complicated because at the end of the day, they do have a really like complex job. Like that thing about multitasking, so many case studies to get through. And they give time to specific things, but then they have to move on to the next thing. So it's that thing also about the balance of what do we look after and what do we not look after, and that's what makes this that's the dilemma.
I think also if it had been male police officers, I think you would have perhaps, and this is like probably talking of my prejudice, but you would have been like, oh yeah, of course they would have done that. And the fact they're female, you're like, gosh, like it's kind of it's a
the dynamic is different.
100%. Yeah.
I think it does. It makes it much more powerful, because I agree. If it was men, it would just be the same. Like, men.
Yeah. Which is
whereas with women, it highlights the complicatedness of it.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think it could be improved? What is it that you think you want to say with the film?
Gosh, I think actually with the film, what it is so when they ask her who it could be that had broken in, she sort of recalls people sort of cat whistling her on the street or whatever, and I think it's the dismissiveness of that. Actually, it's almost like, oh, it can't have been them, and that's nothing. As in, we all deal with that. And actually, one of my lines is, well, we've all been there. We've all, that's nothing. So I would say with the film, maybe it's that element of like, I think as females, you're just kind of you're still brought up to kind of accept that from a certain age you should be expecting that those behavioural issues from men or other people. And actually, wouldn't it be brilliant if we took those just as seriously as sort of more challenging sort of circumstances? So I would say that would be a big theme behind the film.
Well, it's really interesting you say that, because through the film, you go on a different. 1 minute you are like, oh God, poor her. Then you are a bit like, oh yeah, she's been drinking. It really does sort of take you on a few different journeys.
Right.
Even as a woman who's completely, hearing what you say and feels exactly the same, the frustrations of like, oh God, you have to put up with this and that. Still, you watch it and you fall into those things that we're taught in society.
Absolutely.
Societal things, and then conditioning, and then also just judgmental attitudes. It's really...
Yeah, it's a lot. It's actually a lot packed in there.
There's so much packed into it. Right. So I want to ask you, on the other side of it, filming it,
right,
how was the filming? Was there any ups and downs?
Oh goodness, yeah. So I suppose, I mean, it's a privilege really. You get to act in it, and then obviously I produced it, and it's with my company Double Yellow Productions. So you sort of really are with the concept from the beginning, right to the sort of towards the end, and I sort of smile because I can't actually believe it happened, but we did actually we had a 2-day filming and then a day setup, and on the day setup we had like this huge scaffolding, so we were filming in a flat with scaffolding at sort of the back, which meant it always looked like it was nighttime, so we could shoot in the day but it sort of was evening in the flat. So big scaffolding, I'd like prepped all the food, like, I mean, so much work had gone in. But when we were originally setting up, someone major within the crew came and tested positive for COVID on site, and got worse as the day was going on, and we just had to call it. So we actually had to shut that original like shooting schedule down, and that was such a bizarre, weird experience, because it was at midday, everything was almost ready, you know, the fake wallpaper was on the walls. I mean, there was so much, you know, there was like new cabinet sort of faces like being put on, the lighting had been set up, and I just had to go into this weird kind of mode where I was literally like a penguin with my hands, and I was like, we're shutting down. Yes. And it was like by 7 p.m. everyone had left, and I was like, has today even happened, like whatever.
It was so odd. And I was on my way to set, and literally it was like, stand down, and I was like, what's going on?
So but actually, I mean, it was tricky because you then have to sort of realign everybody that you've got, because obviously with short films everyone's doing it round other jobs, you know, it's not just a case of there's the budget considerations and all those kind of things, but it still managed to happen, and we managed to refilm again. It must have been 4 months later.
Yes,
but actually I'm really pleased it did happen, because sometimes those things really do mean that you do learn. At the time it doesn't feel like it.
Exactly. And we had lovely crew that we wouldn't have had if we did it the first time.
Yeah, and they would have been lovely the first time, but I suppose that, you know, in hindsight's always a wonderful thing, and I think it did make me a better producer, and I think you learn how maybe you could have done protocols and things differently, and that's fine too.
You can't do a lot though with the COVID thing though.
No, you can't.
Oh my god! But you pulled it off. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I wanted to ask really quickly as well, with the when you were putting it together, what was the process with creating all that atmosphere that you did? Because
there
was
many stages. I mean, on set there was like a smoke machine.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, we did have a bit of haze.
Yeah, we hazed. That's the proper term. Sorry, smoke machine, like an 80s disco. Actually, sorry to anyone that I've offended there with a technicality term. So I think that was brilliant. We had a fantastic productions designer, Sasha, who I think actually it was the way she chose certain pictures and the setup, I would put down a lot to her. And then we had an incredible colorist who was amazing, and then we had the music as well, which is by Addie Chase, composer. She did an original score for us, and I think you realise with all films, and the more I make and the more I learn, is that it's not just one element. It's like it's lots of different layers, and just when you think nothing can sort of go up a level, sometimes you add in someone's speciality and their technical knowledge, and I would give credit to all of it. And again, even just the filming, dare I say it, the acting, the directing, everything is everyone contributed to it, definitely.
And we did a bit of ADR in my flat, which I was very proud to have been part of in terms of the technical side of things. We just did a little bit of ADR, like
the sound design. I actually think I'm missing everything. It was a real team effort, I think, and the fact that there is that suspense there is really due to everyone just doing such a fabulous job at whatever time and moment it was of it.
It's amazing. I'm so excited to be screening this.
We're so delighted to be here and to be back, so thank you.
And what is the plan? What's next with it?
I think that's a really good question. Hopefully some more film festivals. It'd be lovely to maybe get it onto some sort of platform, for want of a better word, because I do think it's a film that the more people can see it on an educational point of view, I think that would be really important.
It'd be interesting to show it to the police.
100%. Schools as well. I would love to. I think there would be like that. There's a lot of potential there, I think, for discussion and talking about points that we've mentioned earlier. So I think there's still lots of leg room for it.
I'm so excited to see this journey.
Thank you.
For our last question, I have to ask,
Yeah.
why are film festivals so important?
Oh, they really are. I mean, this is such a really good one because you do so much. Like, it's lovely to come in and meet people and discuss the film a little bit, but I think it's such a good opportunity to meet other people.
Absolutely, London-based people, and really just get some camaraderie and like the community together. That's what really nice about this festival.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, and the more the more festivals you do, the more you start meeting the same people, and you're all experiencing not similar problems, because that sounds negative, but you're all trying to make something, and challenges, and you're all trying to create within the sort of parameters sometimes that we're all, short filmmaking is almost harder than making longer films because you've got to do everything kind of a little bit differently.
Grassroots.
100%. So it's fabulous. It's fabulous to come and sort of be and chat, and also pre-festival we've met all of you now, which is lovely again. So we're really already looking forward to January.
Amazing. Oh, well, cannot wait. Thank you so much for coming down and talking to us today about this. And you've got to see this. It's just brilliant. You have to make sure that you come and see this. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.